Hello, everyone! And a few days ago, episode 108 of Skibidi Wars by Verlance came out, which lasted 9 freaking minutes. And it is the longest episode in the entire multiverse so far, which was worth all the wait. And it was not only incredibly epic, but had some crazy plot twists and drama all over it too. And today I'm going to explain to you everything that happened to it. Is Camerawoman really done for? What new strategy did Computer Men hold on to, and how it can help the Alliance? And how is the Plague Toilet connected to all of this? So if you want to know the answers to all these questions, then get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end, because I saved the best part for later, just as always. Let's go! But considering that the fourth part of episode 107 was posted 2 whole months ago, let me quickly remind you of everything that happened in the series before so you could understand what has actually been going on. So, in episode 107 part 4, we see a really intense battle featuring Titan Speakerman, Tri-Soldier, and G-Man. It starts with Titan Speakerman falling under the influence of green energy juice, but quickly shifts focus to an epic entrance by Tri-Soldier, who attacks G-Man and shows some incredible combat skills fueled by the powers of Tri-Titan. Titan Speakerman then joins the battle using his speaker-based abilities to stun G-Man, but his opponent retaliates with a powerful green energy shield. And this whole fight was basically one big reference to the game Metal Gear Rising, as both Speakerman and G-Man were involved in many anime-like attacks. Eventually, Titan Speakerman gains a huge boost from Tri-Titan, which shifts the tide of the whole fight. And then Speakerman defeats G-Man with the power of the meme dance and also by decapitating him with a scythe. However, it turned out that G-Man's apparent defeat is revealed to be part of a larger strategy orchestrated by the Phantom Queen. Her goal was to distract Speakerman and Tri-Soldier long enough to allow her to steal the Speaker's key and recruit the powerful Speakerman Guardian to the Necromancer's side. The Phantom Queen promises G-Man a stronger upgraded body and hints at his soon return. And then in the full version of episode 107, we see the Toilet Inventor, who reveals that the Toilet Emperor is in fact alive and equipped with significant upgrades who can soon come back and give a lot of troubles to the Alliance. Okay, so now when your memory is refreshed and you're all set and ready, episode 108 is already on your screens. And be sure to also give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you like different Skibidi Toilet multiverses. Okay, so if you are subscribed now, let's get back to it. Okay, and episode 108 starts in the cameraman's base where the alarm is popping off, which is really similar to how the previous episode from Verlance started, but only in the Speakerman's base instead. And this time the POV is not some ordinary Speakerman, but Plungerman himself. And to be honest, I was kind of surprised when I saw his character in this multiverse again. Because usually Verlance follows the original Skibidi Toilet series plot steps. And although he doesn't mirror Boom's episodes completely, but definitely inspires from them, and Plungerman didn't appear in Boom's series since episode 70, as you know, and wasn't that hyped recently. So I'm really glad to see him again in another multiverse at least. And here his plunger that is given to him by one of Cameraman engineers is also blue in color, which is pretty cool, as it seems to be upgraded and more powerful. We can also see that the atmosphere within the cameraman's base is pretty desperate, and almost every agent here looks devastated or scared. And when Plungerman walks out in the streets, we can understand why it is so exactly. The surrounding area is completely flooded with the Necromancer's minions. And by the way, it mimics episode 50 of Boom's original series, and it's no wonder that our POV is Plungerman today. And despite the base's technology working overdue in order to defend the base, the Necromancer's minions still manage to immobilize the defensive system of cameramen. Then the POV gets approached by Camerawoman, who also doesn't look particularly happy at everything that is going on. So Plungerman tries to support her. And it's not exactly clear whether Plungerman has any romantic feelings towards her in Skibidi Wars or not. At least it's obvious that they are really close, which is pretty tragic when we'll see what happens later in this episode. So in order to cheer up his girlfriend even more, he then activates his new weapons and lashes towards the Necromancer's freaks. And we can see that his upgraded plunger is also capable of creating the portative shield to block distanced missiles. And this plunger also has the ability of attracting smaller opponents mid-range with its blue laser-like magnets so that the wearer finish them off with another melee weapon, which makes this plunger pretty OP. And then Plungerman gets joined by another warrior in this fight, and it is the Skibidi Toilet who got to the Alliance's side earlier in Verlance's series. And he's been fully equipped in some pretty fashionable white armor which makes him really effective on the battlefield. He easily deals with the bigger necromancer's minion and then shares some positive vibes with us. After that, the friendly Skibidi gets approached by one of Big Cameraman's scientists who gives him a thumbs up and also feeds him some kind of pellet, which enforces this Skibidi's core and activates the yellow color in it. And either this is the joke from Verlance about bodybuilders eating all sorts of steroids to keep themselves in shape, or maybe cameramen really managed to create special pellets to enforce their agents during the fight. The Skibidi flies to the next point of destination, and the POV is left to deal with another wave of the Necromancer's soldiers. But thankfully, Camerawoman is here to back him up with her smart, long-range offensive system. She also uses the huge portative cannon, which was already shown to us in the second part of episode 77 by Boom, so I think you know how it works. Camerawoman releases a missile from this cannon, which she then smartly fools this huge necromancer's minion with, leading to his complete destruction. And the cameraman who was operating this camera strider also made sure that this dude would never walk again. And it was weird not to see the iconic Mecha scientist in this machine, but some random engineer instead. But maybe Verlance decided to leave Mecha for some other plotline. Then the big cameraman pulls up and plays some soccer with this random micro-minion, which gets literally sent to heaven. But that's where the fun ends, because in the next moment, a huge green orb shows up and smashes at Cameraman's base at rocket speed. The explosion consumes everyone nearby, including all of Plungerman's friends. The POV loses his consciousness for some time, and when he finally gets to his senses, he sees that the entire base is in shambles. Lots of agents are lifeless and everything is basically lost. But thankfully, Camerawoman and some other friends of his are still alive, and he hugs her and then gives her his plunger, as Camerawoman's offensive system was also lost with the explosion. And after that, we see how out of the green orb the new character appears, and she's not on our side. This is the completely new henchwoman of the Necromancer, and as I understand, her official name in the fandom is Hybrid Woman now. And despite her looking smoking hot, she's still incredibly dangerous, and her whole design also reminded me of some female Mortal Kombat characters who were also really hot, but fatal. And she infects the nearby minion with her tentacles, which turns him into some really disgusting creature the big cameraman starts a fight with. And this minion doesn't really care about the flames, as he's probably just a walking pile of stinky flesh with two huge swords. Meanwhile, Plungerman gets pulled by the Hybrid Woman's tentacles to infect the POV as well. But at the very last moment, her plans get ruined by Camerawoman attacking the freak from behind. But unfortunately, both her and the POV are completely helpless, as both of them get blocked by Hybrid Woman's tentacles. And Plungerman then just watches his dear friend get torn apart by Hybrid Woman's limb. And then the freak throws her body right at our hands to just enjoy our misery even more. And we see a heartbreaking scene how Camerawoman spends the last seconds of her life in Plungerman's hands, which is a reverse reference to Boom's episode 70, when Plungerman passed away in front of heartbroken Kathy. But is Camerawoman gone for good now? Despite her terrible wounds, I still have some hope that she might be restored somehow by the Alliance. Because Mecha Scientist, for example, was literally ripped in two halves in Boom's series, but he still managed to restore himself and come back. So maybe Camerawoman will have the same fate. Meanwhile, the cameraman's base gets absolutely wrecked by the Necromancer's forces, and that's when the upgraded Titan Cameraman shows up, just like in episode 50 I already mentioned. And you just look at this dude, and although his pants looked pretty questionable, the rest of his attire and upgrades are really lit. His blue wings, huge cannons, and heavily upgraded hammer really makes him stand out even more. And he's definitely got much more powerful since the last time he appeared in the series, and now he's basically unstoppable and dangerous to all the enemies in his way. And once again we see Verlance heavily referencing the original episode 50 with this scene. But then Titan Cameraman gets attacked by another huge mutant on the Necromancer's side, and he looks like a bigger and uglier version of the freak infused by Hybrid Woman earlier in this episode. This new, huge mutant really looks like some boss from Resident Evil game series, who also has his own upgrades, making him a tough opponent. He topples Titan Cameraman, and then creeps towards Plungerman, who's still holding Camerawoman in his hands. And he's so devastated that he doesn't even plan to fight the disgusting monster back. He just accepts his fate, looks at Camerawoman for the last time as he thinks, and closes his eyes. But thankfully, Titan Cameraman gets on his feet again and attacks the freak, interrupting this horrible scene. He restrains him with the usage of both of his cannons that can also get detached when needed, grabs the monster by his deformed head, make it open, and then, fills the freak's intestines with his thick core flame stream and, yeah, it sounds exactly the way you imagine, guys, and I am so sorry for that. Whatever it takes to save your comrades, y'all, so let's not judge anyone. Titan Cameraman then rises up, looks at Plungerman and says, "For her," meaning that he finally avenged Camerawoman and her injuries. After which he spreads his wings and flies away to help other agents from the Alliance suffering from the Necromancer's army attacks. But even despite this epic Titan Cameraman's appearance, I still cannot ignore the fact that the cameramen suffered a huge number of losses in this episode. Yes, one of the keys that the Necromancer wants to obtain was still well protected by cameramen, but at what cost? It is really obvious to me that something has to be done about this war, otherwise the Alliance would simply lose all of its battle forces. And that's when the final sequence of episode 108 starts as we're getting transferred to the Computerman's base. We see how all of Computermen kept researching the special Triadian power crystal, and one of them says that it takes just a little more time to weaponize its effects in the war with the Necromancer. Then he goes to the Computermen's analysis team while leaving laptop men to keep working on the crystal. And then we can see that the analytics are busy with figuring out something on the pictures featuring the Necromancer's minions in the surrounding areas. The Computerman asks the team whether there are any new discoveries, to which he gets an answer that they were none yet. One of the analytics adds that instead they have been reviewing the old footage captured by the cameramen in the fields that included their first glimpses of both the Necromancer and the Phantom. And after the Computerman takes his time to observe the picture, he suddenly notices something in the background and asks the analytical team to zoom closer on it, as it's in every single one picture. And when one of the analytics asks him what this thing is, we see that it really looks like the plague toilet. And everything that has been going on recently might actually be connected to his presence on Earth. To which the analytic says that the main Computerman might actually be right. And if the Plague Doctor is really connected to the Necromancer's army, then he might know their weaknesses. The analytic then asks how this revelation may help the Alliance, though. To which the Computerman answers with a sassy expression on his face. We need to capture it. And that it's the best way in the ongoing battle. Because however crazy it might sound, but every other effort the Alliance made costed only more lives of its agents. To fight the Necromancer in front means only more losses, so instead it would be better to capture the plague toilet alive and get the necessary information out of him, which can be made with the help of Cameraman's Neurolink technology and the powers of Triadian crystal. And combined with one or more Titans of the Alliance, the toilet can definitely be captured and then seized control over. And the scientific team actually agrees to this risky plan and starts preparing to make it into reality. So it is possible that in the next episode we'll see not just the epic battles, but also the process of capturing the plague toilet by some of the Titans, and maybe upgraded Titan Cameraman will be the one who will participate in this mission. And that was all for today. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you will not miss my new videos, and also to my Discord, where you can contact me directly and get lots of info for my subscribers only. And that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!